students are engaged, they are far more likely to enjoy school and to learn. The question for teachers is, of course, how can I engage students when the lesson content is not always exciting? We can create engagement during any lesson by providing students with opportunities to respond, or what are sometimes called OTRs. Whenever the student has to think about the lesson content and then respond in any way, it is an engagement. Teachers can provide such opportunities to respond in a number of both simple and creative ways. Research has shown us that teachers' use of OTRs is associated with more on-task behavior and less disruption. Please consider the following videos as they provide specific examples of how teachers can use OTRs to increase student engagement. Verbal opportunities to respond include all those in which students simply respond using their public language. These are the easiest and most common type of OTR. In this first example, notice how the teacher keeps the student's attention with very simple questions to the group and individuals.
Who remembers what we were doing yesterday? Maya?
Multiply.
That's right, we were multiplying. Look at the equation on the board. What would the answer to that equation be? Vitor?
The answer is 6.
You say the answer is 6. If you agree with Vitor that the answer is 6, put your thumb up. Lainey, how do you know that the answer is 6?
Anything multiplied by 2 is double the number.
That's double. So Vitor, why is the answer not 5?
Because the X stands for multiplication, not addition.
That's correct. The operation is?
Multiply.
Good.
In this second example, notice how the teacher allows the students to respond and keeps all students engaged.
Yesterday, for your exit slip, you had to write them the names of the 3 branches of government. Tell me, if you remember any of those names, yes or no?
No, yes, yes.
Good, thank you. Put your hands down. Now, I want you to tell me how many of those branches of government that you do remember. 1, 2, or 3. How many do you remember?
2, 3.
I am so happy that you all remembered at least one of those branches of government. Awesome. Now today, we're going to be talking about one branch of government, and it begins with the letter E. I want you to think about which branch starts with the letter E. Tell me, all at the same time, your answer. What is it? E.
Executive.
Oh, good. Now Allison said executive, the executive branch. If you agree with Allison, show me with a thumbs up. Hang on. And if you disagree, show me a thumbs down. All at the same time? Right. Allison is correct. It is the executive branch. Now think about who's in charge of the executive branch. Tell me, all at the same time, what's your answer? Who is it?
The president. The president.
Yes, you are absolutely right. The president is in charge of the executive branch. Good.
Another way to give students an opportunity to respond is to ask them to demonstrate a skill. There are many ways this can be accomplished. Watch as the teacher asks students to show their understanding of math concepts using manipulatives.
All right, guys, today we're working with number bonds. And if you remember, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a number, and then we're going to break it apart. The number we're going to start with is the number 7. All right, so what I would like for you to do is to go ahead and put 7 of your counters in your top circle. You'll have 7 counters at the top of your paper, and you're going to break that down into smaller numbers. So you get to choose which numbers you want to split those apart into. So, Ellery, what I see is that you broke down the number 7 in a different way than some of your friends. Can you tell me about what you did?
I put 4 and 3 together, and that equals 7.
Very good. I'm looking at your work, and it looks like you guys have this. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Whiteboards are a way to request a written response from students. Each student has a whiteboard and is able to respond to the OTR when prompted. Watch as this method is used in a school setting.
Thinking about our short ASL film, I want you all to think of the theme, the central idea. Write it on your whiteboard. It can be a word, a phrase, a full sentence, whatever. And then we'll share. You ready? Show it. Turn it around. Let's see it. Look at each other's. So you have feeling of fear. We have a couple about happiness, kind of about happiness. Let's start with you, Payne. Explain, what do you mean, what it's like to be a fish? What do you mean?
That's the point of the film. It shows what it's like to be a fish, the emotion and swimming in the ocean and actually going through being caught. What it's like to be a fish.
Excellent, excellent. And then now you're talking about emotion, and Asher targeted on lonely. So tell us about that.
It says being lonely, there's no friends, no family, really suffering being alone.
Through the entire movie, I never thought of that before. Good idea, excellent.
Guided notes promote active engagement during lecture or independent reading, provide full and accurate notes for use as a study guide, and help students to identify the most important information covered. In addition, guided notes allow for students to become actively engaged in the instruction. Watch in this video as the teacher uses guided notes to help keep the student engaged with the content. But notice also that the teacher uses other types of OTR in addition to the guided notes.
All right, guys, we have our guided notes page that we're going to take a look at today. I want you to take out your Happy Days Are Here Again page and follow along with me because you'll want to use them later on. Now, we see a picture. We know it's not anyone that we've probably run into in the school building. Can anyone tell me who this man is? Leah.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That's correct, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. If you'll jot that down in your notes, please. We also know he suffered from an ailment. Can anyone tell me what that was? Stanley.
Polio.
Polio is correct. Polio is correct. Please record that in your guide. In Roosevelt's presidency, there were 3 areas that we've gone over that were very, very important to him. Can anyone tell me what those 3 areas are? Malik.
They are relief, recovery, and reform.
All right, let's see. How many of you think that Malik is correct in all 3? Give me a thumbs up if you think Malik is correct in all 3 areas. Well, I am pleased to inform you, Malik, that you are absolutely 100% correct. Good job. Good job.
Action and gesture OTRs are those that require the student to physically move and participate as they respond. Action OTRs are nonverbal response strategies that increase active, on-task participation and decrease off-task disruptive behavior. Action OTRs are most effective when the teacher plans the lesson with an engagement strategy in mind. The key to using action and gesture OTRs is in the planning stage. The teacher must carefully plan for how OTRs are best used during a lesson. Planning should include how action response techniques are explained, taught, and/or reviewed. In this next video, the teacher is using prompts for student action in a brief, fast-paced teacher-directed review of previously taught material prior to moving into today's lesson. The teacher asks for responses from both the class as a whole and individual students. The teacher reviews the content with a lesson guide in hand. The students are prompted to use hand signals to answer questions.
Please find the word legitimate and put your finger on it, please. Great job, great job. Okay, now find the definition of the word legitimate and raise your hand when you've got it. Excellent. Tegan, tell me about the origin of legitimate.
Legitimate comes from the word legitimus, which is kin for the Latin word for law, lex.
Thumbs up if you agree with that definition. I do too. Good job. Okay, so now you need to discuss the other 3 Latin-based words. So to be clear, show me with your fingers how many words are you going to discuss? Good job. Okay, so beautiful. Work with a partner, okay? And raise your hand when you have answers to the first one. May.
In this next video, student movement is used as an action response technique. In this example, the teacher has planned ahead to actively engage the students as they respond and interact with the content. The students are involved in learning through active participation via movement, writing, and working with their peers.
Okay, we've already discussed the different settings for the short ASL film. What all of you have to do, you have to pick which setting you want to do. Discuss it with a partner and write about the theme or the central idea of that specific setting. So you're going to move to whichever one you want, discuss it, and write it. Pick your setting. Go and discuss it.
The students are directed to move to their corner of the room. Once in the location, the students are prompted to write facts under the main idea on the poster paper. The students will move to all poster locations and will be instructed to move in a clockwise motion. At each poster, the students add to the list of facts under the main idea. At the end of this activity, the groups will merge and refine the list, making a list of the top 5 key points. One student from each group will report out. Another strategy for engaging students is the use of nonverbal response cards. These are simply cards that can be held up to indicate a response. Response cards should be easy to manipulate, display, and see by the teacher and student if the teacher should choose. They can be pre-printed with simple responses such as yes and no, or agree and disagree. Or they can be different colors with the teacher designating a color associated with a specific answer. Maybe red means no. Effective teachers consider their instructional plan for the use of response cards. Teachers teach, model, and practice their routine. There's a process or set of steps where the teacher should maintain a lively pace with a short time between questions. Question, think, decide answer, wait for cue to show, hold up card, put down card, prepare for next question. The teacher should give clear cues and provide positive feedback for correct answers and use of cards. Watch how the teacher uses response cards with students in the following video.
So we're going to use a technique called response cards. And the red response card is for false, and the green response card is for true. So today we're going to talk about the Earth's features. I'm going to read a statement, and you're going to raise your response card. Okay, number 1 of our checkpoint of learning. A transform boundary is when 2 plates grind past each other. True or false? Awesome, that is exactly right. Thank you.
This morning, we are going to check our understanding of adding numbers to 10. But remember, there are lots of different combinations of numbers whose sum could equal 10. I'm going to write some of the numbers on the board, and I want each of you to check my addition. If you're not sure, 5 and 5 is 10. Go ahead and try to figure it out yourself. See if you can figure it out on your own to equal 10. Yes, so change your response card to a yes. So you're all now correct. Now get your response cards. And show me 2 numbers that are combined and equal 10. Hold your cards up and keep them up. 3 and 7, that equals 10. 9 and 1 equals 10. 4 and 6 equals 10. And 7 and 3 equals 10. You're right. Good job.